I learned that this word humility comes from this Latin word humus, and humus means soil. Voila! Ground Up Initiative is to connect you to the soil. My name is Tay Lai Hock, and I'm in the hot seat.
Indeed he is. He's a farmer / social entrepreneur in waiting, global trekker, and soul sculptor, which we hope he will explain. He begins, as all our guests do though, with his 2-minute resume.
I was a soldier once for 6 years, 3 months, and I was a corporate man for 11 years. And then for the last 13 years of my life, I led a totally unorthodox life. In 1999, I quit my job and I went backpack. I thought it would be 6 months, and it ended up for about 4 years. And when I came back, I just didn't want to go back to do the same thing. So half the time I do a lot of humanitarian and charity work. I just pick up any job. Some of the jobs I do, like Moscow Circus, Jazz Festival, Beach Party. I also will bring groups to oversee for humanitarian work, like in Mongolia, China, Thailand. One of the thing that I did in the last 3.5 years is I started a non-profit organization called Ground Up Initiative.
Your interest in the 3 major phases of your life, your soldiering, your sales and marketing, and now your current activity as a Kampung Chief at Ground Up Initiative, which is what it says on your card. What do you think are the specific aspects of your personality that make you A, a good soldier, or B, a good sales and marketing person, and now a good farmer? Is that fair to say?
I'm a person who believes everything is interconnected. Because of my past, that's why I'm able to be here. For example, I love adventure. I love soldiering life. I believe in being a warrior. I love watching those movies like Lord of the Rings, Braveheart, or some of the Chinese movie, those battlefield fighting scenes where the generals are always in the front.
Is the warrior spirit informed by a perpetual struggle between good and evil, where eventually you know that good will win over evil? Or
yeah, I believe in good and evil, and I think these days the world has become a bit blurred, black and white, not as distinct as before. I am not so sure eventually the good will win, because for the time being, if according to what my belief is, the evil is still having an upper hand.
Give us an example of what you see that's happening these days that gives support to this particular idea of yours.
For example, we talk about mass poverty, destructions of livelihood in many places in the name of progress. Lands are being taken away, forests are being destroyed. The commercial company encouraging you to consume until your souls are gone. To me, that is a bit evil.
Yeah. Are you making it your life's work or life's business to change that equation, to change the balance?
I didn't think it would be this way. I did not set out that I want to change the world. I just only said that I want to do what I believe. I started doing social volunteer work when I was 16, and I'm now 48. And so, of course, at one point in my time, I was active with pursuing my career. And in 1999, when I had a chance just to drop out everything, and I thought I would just take a 6 months break. When I was in South America, I ended up in a place called El Paso in Texas.
Right. What year again?
In year 2000, somewhere around April or May. I met this American lady who has Latin blood. I met her in Egypt with her son, and they got cheated by Egyptian, and I helped her to recover back lots of money. So when I was traveling in North America, Canada and everything, and she heard that, she said, I want you to come to my birthday party. I want you to meet all my friends and family. So I didn't know where's El Paso anyway. I went all the way there. I went into the pub, and wow, everybody was treating me like a hero, Then I ended up staying 3 weeks in El Paso with them, moving around a few places. But every day, when I had a chance, I would sit on this little hill overlooking this Mexican town called Juarez. They are all squatters, and every day I just look at it, and one day I said, yes, I'm going to Mexico. That's it. I just went into Mexico. This lady, she is a teacher at the time. She invited me to give a talk to all her high school kids, 14 years old. Yeah. 6 classes. I did each class 45 minutes.
What was your lesson about?
This friend told me that most of the kids, 70% Latinos, they had no motivation in their life.
So Spanish speaking, but English speaking?
English speaking. Then they asked me, say, why don't you go and tell them the story? So I went and tell them about having a dream. I remember when I told them that I'm going to Mexico, they are all very excited. But I had many adults, Americans, told me, it's so dangerous. What are you going to do there? You're going to be kidnapped. You'll be robbed. But I still went. With no guidebook, with nothing, I just went across. And then from there, I went to Costa Rica. And then from there, I went to Colombia. Honestly, at that time, I had a job offer after backpacking for almost like a year and a half to run a startup company in IT.
There was no expected or scheduled date of return. You were basically seeing the world.
Yeah. When I started, I thought it would be a while, but somewhere 4 months along the journey, I told myself that anytime I don't like it, I'll just go home. And I just continue. I don't know where I'm going. Even sometimes I arrive at a train station, I'll be like, okay, when is the next train? I'll just jump to the next train or the bus.
Yeah.
A lot of things there inspired me. I did a very interesting thing to help a village in Ecuador. I came out of South America 8 months later, thinking that maybe I should spend my lifetime doing humanitarian work. That was a very simple thought at a time.
Right. I'm going to hold you there and then keep everyone else in suspense and to see what the next step is after we ask him to pick our first piece of music.
Hoi Phut Thiên Hong by Beyond. Hoi is sea, vast or wide open. Thiên is sky or heaven. So this song is about dream, is it? It's very easy just to give up your dream and live a normal life. But I wouldn't, even if it would cost me. It's a very inspiring song for me.
寒夜里看雪飄過，懷着冷卻了的心窩飄遠方。風雨裏追趕，霧裏分不清影蹤。天空海闊，你與我可會變？多少次迎着冷眼與嘲笑，從沒有放棄過心中的理想。一剎那彷彿若有所失的感覺，不知不覺已變淡心裏愛。原諒我這一生不羈放縱愛自由，也會怕有一天會跌倒。背棄了理想，誰人都可以，哪會怕有一天千里共我。
The many miles along Tay Lai Hock's voyage of discovery has held a lesson at every turn, lessons he's passed on as Kampung Chief at Ground Up Initiative, his non-profit social enterprise in the making. He's my guest in the hot seat.
An incident in Ecuador led me to did a lot of things to help this village people by myself, and people in Ecuador were wondering, why am I doing this? They thought I'm from the UN or the Singapore government sends me. I spent another 2 years traveling, and what I did was to keep helping or anybody along the journey. So when I came back finally in 2002, I had job offer again. But I turned it down straight away without even thinking. Before I left for my journey, I wrote a piece called Finally. And when I came back, I said finally too. I wrote down 3 things I wanted to do. And one of the things I wrote down is to spend my life making a difference in other people. So it was a very simple wish that I did. So half the time I was doing any odd job. Half the time I spent learning about farming, because one of the things I did in my travel was I did organic farming in Spain. And that just aroused my whole interest about farming and learning all about organic eating and food and everything. In 2002, I came back. I went to Chiang Mai. I brought 25 students to do some work over there. And it led me to think again about this whole injustice I saw in my travel. The people are migrating in loads from the rural to the cities. And then they had problems adapting in city life. And then they became poverty. They went into all kind of issue again. So I was thinking at that time, how then could we make people in the countryside still had a rich life, but yet do not give up?
How were you able to spend as much time away from your home? Who did you leave behind to pursue your dreams?
It's a good thing I not married. I wasn't married before. I am the eldest at home. When I left at the point to do backpacking, I have two brothers. I told one of them that I spent 30 over years of my life looking after the family. I wanted to live my life now. Yeah. So of course my mom, being a tradition mom, don't understand what went wrong with me and everything. It takes them a while to... I think it helps that I'm single.
How were you able to keep body and soul together? If you worked, you ate, and if you did not work, you did not eat?
Hey, you know, very interestingly, just before I left for my backpacking, I was asking this question. I said, how long would I want to travel? So I said 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. I decided how much I would spend a day. I came up to the conclusion of $30 a day. So I try to save as much as I can. Then I asked this question, what if I come back, I couldn't get a job? How much do I need per day to survive? So I did an experimentation in 1998, December. So the whole month I record down how much I spend each day. My conclusion was, I only need $600 a month. So I said, okay, I'll put aside $1,000 a month. So I put aside 6 months, $6,000, just in case I couldn't find a job. And the truth is, up to now, I don't have to spend much more than $1,000 a month to find a job or to find something that will support me with that amount of money. It's not typical. And the typical saying, can man live like that?
Over there maybe, but not over here.
Yes, Mr. X, you're seeing a real life example. Singaporeans.
Singapore on $30 a day.
20.
Singapore. You're going to be away as long as the money lasts. You had come back, you had written finally too. What made you decide that you were going to put into practice those things that you had promised yourself that you were going to do?
What do you see me carrying into the studio?
Yeah, the backpack.
The backpack, yes, you're right. When I came back, one of the decisions I make for myself is that I told myself I was a backpacker, I am a backpacker, and I will always be a backpacker.
Whatever you need is on you at all the time.
No, sometimes I have to go in once in a while, wear suits or tie or jackets. I'll still bring my backpack. Once I remember I helped somebody go and see a banker, and he was so surprised I came in this way. So this backpack in a way helps remind me that I had this connection to this 4 years of traveling experience that deeply entrenched me to remind me of, maybe I can use the word, my vow. I had so many invitations to so many people's home to live in 4 years. I had people who got inspired by my story and said, come, I want to be a part of the journey. They helped me to buy my train ticket, sponsor an air ticket. And this has something to do with what I'm doing right now. Because I remember as I travel, I have a very interesting habit. I started to give thanks to everything. I say thanks to the bed that let me have a good night rest. I say thanks to the village that gave me a good experience. I say thanks to practically anything and everything. Yeah. If I pass by a church, I will step in and offer thanks. If I pass by a temple, I just ask for blessing and thanks. If you believe in this power of gratitude, being grateful, everything just come to bless you. And this is what I'm actually bringing to my current non-profit group.
Let's see whether this particular force has a name or not. What we do need now is the name of your next song.
I kept humming this song. It has one part that says, step into a church, I pass along my way. Well, I get down on my knee and I began to pray. The Mamas and the Papas, California Dreaming.
When you log on to groundupinitiative.org, the website where the world meets the earth, you might say, you can almost feel the sheer exhilaration of the Kampung dwellers every time they come to commune with my guest. He's the fella holding up his muddy hands to camera, grinning from ear to ear, saying, as he always does, have a good day.
I registered as a society on 2008, 22nd of April, which happens to be Earth Day.
How does operating as a society help you do what it is you want to achieve?
I tell people it's non-profit, so not profit-driven in everything I do. After 5 years back in Singapore, two things bugged me very, very much. The first thing is, for example, in the area environmental, I felt that no matter what you do in Singapore, somehow there's a disconnect. And the more I understand about land, and I'm talking about land not as an en bloc land, I felt that there's a human, especially Singapore, we're so urbanized, where there's a disconnect between us and the land. I mean, in other places, people die for the land. But here you ask them to die for the land, huh? So that's the first thing that I was wondering why. So the second thing is, a lot of people said, Lai Hock, you are good, but there's only one you. How much can you save the world? I was like, wow. So in 2007, I had a chance to lead 3 rounds of flood relief mission in southern Malaysia, which got unprecedented flood. A total of 59 people joined me over 3 times. And these were young people. They went to the ground with me, very passionate, very disciplined. 2/3 of them, I don't even know them. Fast forward, I had to go to New Zealand to do some training on sustainability because somebody came to say that we had a big piece, 100 over acres of land in this part of China, and would you like to go there and help them to help the minority ethnic? I said, I don't have much understanding. She said, don't worry, come to New Zealand to train. So I went. Of course, it didn't happen that way in the end. So after that, my training, I was going around all the farms, woofing, W-O-O-F, woofing. It means willing workers on organic farm. I would have looked back at this group of young people and I think about these questions, and all the things that I did in 5 years. 5 years was up. What's next? So I promised myself I will come back to Singapore again for another 5 years. This time now to start an organization to nurture leaders, to have the essence of, not to be like Tay Lai Hock, but to have the essence of this leadership. A leader who are not just good in economics, very smart, but who has understanding of what's the meaning of the land.
How do you use your training and all your experience? I mean, whether it was what you learned on your travels or what you did as a soldier or what you learned as a sales and marketing person to foster connection between man and earth through sustainable activities. Do you use any marketing skills in advancing your cause at all?
Oh, yes, I do. I think when there's a need for me to talk, to publicize,
right,
to be interviewed,
yeah,
I will have no qualms. We will use whatever media to publicize our cause.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
What about flourishing community that drives local and global humanitarian, social and environmental initiatives? What does Tay Lai Hock know about flood alleviation? You're not an engineer.
I'm not an engineer, but I think I can motivate engineers to do that.
So you now become a coordinating body.
I wouldn't use the word coordinate. That I believe that the way the world is living nowadays is very self-centered. We consume too much. People forgot the meaning of coming together as a community. Because everything, I only want my one car. I cannot share my car with my neighbors because everybody want everything by themselves. By making people come in a community setting and really live like a community again, I always ask people, why do you want to save the earth? You say, if you have children, you say, I want to leave my kids. But you don't have one, like me. But when you have the connection with somebody you know, right, now that I know you, wouldn't I want to maybe make this space a little bit nicer for you to enjoy? When I look at Singapore, there's this disconnect with everything that is being built here. Don't you think so? We don't clean our own space. We don't DIY a lot of things, unlike a lot of people. So who cares? Yeah. I don't care. Rubbish is done by somebody.
Is it harder to operate an organization such as a Ground Up Initiative in a place like land scarce Singapore?
Oh, when I first started, I said, we want to build an eco-village, and people said, where's your money? Where's the land? Who are your expertise advising you? I said, I don't know. Like the same way I left for my backpack. It's the same thing when I left for my backpack. You crazy? You left behind your 6-figure annual salary job to do this? Are you crazy traveling by yourself? Aren't you afraid?
What's the answer?
So I said, I have faith. I believe if I'm doing the right thing. It's my Ecuador experience. I was single trying to help this community in this Amazon jungle, and people around the world responded to my call. That is the same belief that drive me all these years, because the first 5 years when I came back, like for example, you said, how do I survive? Sometimes I'll go back home, I will have people who just came and deliver a pack of $50 over worth of organic vegetable, milk, rice in my home. I didn't ask for it. My laptop I'm using was given by somebody to me. What I have experienced in my first 5 years was people got fed up with lousy leadership or people who are not clear in direction, right, who are trying to be wishy-washy, who are trying to please everybody except nobody in the end.
Right.
So I believe if you are clear and even you are not sure in the beginning, but you have that faith and belief, and you not only do the right thing, but you do it right, in the end, more and more people will respond to you. And of course, now we can see that Ground Up initiative is really flourishing.
Tell me, flourishing in what sense? How many like-minded people have you been able to attract?
We started a weekly activity called Balik Kampung since 2008 May. Is to get people to connect back to the land. In 2009, first year we were operating in Lim Chu Kang. So second year, we will offer a piece of 100 square meter space in Border Tree Park, Yishun.
Offered by whom?
By the owners of Border Tree Park, Yishun. From 100 square meter, we expanded 12 times in 1.5 years. And all this time was supported by the owners who did not charge a single cent to us because we delivered what we have promised. We rallied thousands of people who came and helped to build this space using 90% of the materials people throw away.
Please pick your next song.
It's My Life by Bon Jovi. It's my life, it's now or never. I just want to live while I'm still alive. I like this song because people forgot how to live.
From a 10 meter by 10 meter patch of concrete to a glorious celebration of Earth's bounty, Ground Up Initiative is the current stop on Tay Lai Hock's journey of growth. Literally, a seed of an idea that sprouted a movement, taken root since
2009, April 24th, just 2 days after Earth Day.
So now it's 12 times more. So 12 times more of what?
In terms of space, half the space is devoted to planting, fruit trees, crops, herbs, flowers.
Yeah.
And every weekend, volunteers will come to work on the land.
Right. Your volunteers, do they consider themselves to be members of a club?
We have two types of volunteers. One is members who pay a subscription fees annually. To date, we have about close to 55 members. Now, the way we define members is that they want to shape the destiny and journey of GUI, in short for Ground Up Initiative. The rest are general volunteers who keep coming back, get their hands dirty, or do CIP, the school project, or CSR, that's a company project. So we have all kind of people, students, general public, company employees. We sometimes have overseas people. So they not only do farming, they also do arts, engineering, technology stuff, handcraft. For example, if you go to our Facebook, recently we posted IBAM as speakers made of bamboo without any electronic parts. But when you put your iPhone in it, it amplified the music beautifully.
How do you use the stuff you grow?
Food. Food is a very, very important part in our kampong. So we, every Saturday and Sunday, lunchtime we'll cook and everybody enjoy. We just enjoy having to see your own grown stuff. You eat it or you give it away. Like, I remember sometime I went back home with bags of vegetables. I gave it to my neighbors. My neighbors, how much? Don't need to pay. So people are always very surprised. I mean, this is happening here? I say, yeah, it's happening here. So
Is it possible to know what the quality of your produce is?
I think so far people enjoy the food because I always like to say you grow your food with love. So when you cook it with love, you grow it with love, you eat it and you feel with love. Isn't that what life is all about?
I'm sure you're right. I don't think there are enough people who appreciate this, necessarily see it that way, which is unfortunate.
We don't have much agricultural land anymore. We don't have countryside as much as we like. Yes, we have a little bit. I mean, we're becoming too urbanized. And actually, you know, one of the things I always tell all my volunteers or anybody who join us and our activity is to say that actually here we're not asking you to be a farmer. And if there's one thing I ask you to farm, it's your heart and your soul.
Because you're doing this yourself and because you are connecting with the earth, I'm assuming, therefore, that all your produce is organic. Is it so?
Yes, we will say it's organic because we don't use chemical, but we are not certified because we are not a production farm. We just want to let people experience, because a lot of urban folks never know how a vegetable is like or how is it being grown.
Once you run out of space, would you be able to use, say, the rooftops of commercial buildings or HDB flats?
We do. In fact, when we started at Border Tree Park, our first project, 100 square meter, the whole plot was concrete land. So we imagined this to be a rooftop. So we came out with a project name called Sustainable Urban Rooftop Farming, in short, SURF. We're trying to say that it's quite fun if the whole community can come together to grow stuff together. the Gotong Royong spirit that we used to talk about, the Kampung spirit. And it's really alive. This is a living kampung.
Sounds more like human energy rather than just the power of nature.
Yes, in fact, the first vision is connecting people, connecting them to earth. Why do you want to connect to earth? Because we want to participate in the healing of the land. The land is so hurt now by all the overuse of chemicals, deforestation. But many people find that when they join GUI, in the process of working on the land, they actually heal their human spirit.
Yeah. You're connecting with more people as time goes by. And you've just come back from something you called Heroes Program. What is Heroes Program and what are the benefits of that?
Okay, Heroes Program is a program initiated by Canon and supported by NEA. They wanted to groom environmental leaders to train these people to be steward of their land. So they did a pilot run with 22 schools, 77 students, and we put them through a 6-month program. We just only the first month and a half. Recently, we ran a 3 days camping at our kampung. Minimum water, not enough food. Of course, we give them the scenario. They have to pitch a tent, do night walk. Character building, resilience, teaching them hardship, making them to be a better human. Because the truth is, our society becomes so comfortable. People become very apathetic with everything. They don't appreciate anymore. They don't care. Honestly, we were surprised. Wow, we transformed these kids beautifully. We hope it will be permanent. That's why this program has as a continuation to make sure that they will use this skill and knowledge and experience that they just acquire to put into something good in an outreach program.
Pick your final musical choice if you would.
I love ethnic music, so I like to maybe choose this Mongolian music. I've been to Mongolia twice. I spent 2 months there. This song reminds me of that nomadic feeling. The Blue Mongolian Grassland by Purumbaya.
What happens when Lai Hock decides that he no longer wants to be Kampung Chief? What happens to Ground Up Initiative?
It will continue to run because from day one when I started it, I make it a point to do leadership succession. To be the thinker, to be the warrior, and to be the farmer. And I'm glad to say that we have a core team of 20. They are devoting their time, efforts, and heart to help build and grow this Ground Up initiative. I call myself sometimes the soul sculptor. So I'm sculpting their soul, and they will continue to sculpt other people's soul.
山川，蒙古包就像飞落的大雁，乐乐车赶着太阳游荡在天边，敖包美丽的神话守护着草原。爱我蓝色的蒙古高原，你给了我希望，从远古走到今天，你就像不灭的信念，把我的爱献给你，把我的祝福留给你，祝福留